What's up, beautiful souls? My name is Angel. Welcome to the podcast, Soul Rise Healing. I am so excited to take you on this journey with me. On this podcast, we're going to dive into so many different things. But before I get into that, let's talk about who I am. Let me introduce myself. My name is Angel. From a very young age, I started experiencing, talking and traveling this multiverse with galactic beings. I started understanding how this universe worked. I started seeing the big picture, so to speak. From a young age, I was having things like sleep paralysis. I was finding myself in positions of healing. My body healed extremely fast. I was seeing different past family members. I knew when they were going to die. I knew when someone's sick. I could feel the emotions of someone else. When I would go to sleep at night, I would go into sleep paralysis and there would be all these galactic beings around me. And at first I was terrified. Then I started to embrace it and travel this big, vast multiverse. What I did not like, though, was coming back to my body. I was still in sleep paralysis. That I couldn't quite figure out. At age of 9 months, I was able to save the life of my mother through speaking. I remember entering into this world, into this vessel. I remember so much of my life. As I grew up, I would have premonitions. I knew when family was coming. I knew when they wasn't coming. I knew who was sick, who was dying, what was wrong. All of that. And I would tell my family and they'd be like, oh, Angel's crazy. I remember sitting in church, and in church, the stuff just didn't resonate with me. It did not feel authentic to me. But I was in this church. I had to be there because that was how we were brought up, right? That was the conditioning. But I understood that I was meant for something deeper than what I was being shown. When I went in the military, I can remember the galactic being saving my life. There was this one instance where a bullet went through the window, and I know it had to be a galactic being because how it was stopped. I had just thinking that, gosh, I'm not going to die. I'm still here. So I knew my life had a bigger mission than what it was. I had friends coming up to me in the military telling me to save people's lives because they knew I could go touch them and heal them. I had no idea what they're talking about because I had not explored my gifts. I was still just trying to live in this 3D construct. Then about 12 years ago, my life was shaken. Me and my partner went to Books A Million, and I was like, why do I want to go to Books A Million? I never go to Books A Million. I don't even like to read. So as I went to Books A Million, there's this book that stood out to me. It was 2 books, Think and Grow Rich and The 4 Agreements. I didn't read The 4 Agreements at first. My partner did. And she was like, you need to read this. You have to read this book. And I finally broke down and read it. And when I read it, it opened me wide up. It was like when I was on my way to college, I asked my guys, I said, please turn this off. I just want to be a normal college student for once. And they did. But after that, when I read this book, it's like all the downloads and information was sitting on top of me and it just flooded me. And I became obsessed with understanding who I was, my spiritual journey, my lineage, and any and everything I could get my hands on. I started from debunking Christianity to the Emerald Tablets, to the Hermetics, to alchemy, different deities, understanding who they were, Greek mythology. You name it, I studied it. Astrology, numerology. And I had studied so much and consumed so much information that all this information in me that had been locked in my DNA started to surface. Boom! It just started to open up and I was like, holy moly, what am I going to do? So I found myself in kind of a spiritual psychosis and I felt like, okay, I got to tell everybody this information. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. My throat chakra was so unbalanced that it shut down on me. Later on, I ended up having Graves' disease or a thyroid. My thyroid was way too high. I lost a lot of weight, got really sick, and it just did not seem to be working. So I finally found someone to help me and teach me how to close my energy off and to help me really say, this is what you need to do. So I'm grateful for that person for helping me show me that. But I continued to study over the years and my gifts just continued to magnify. The more I studied, the more I learned. This has been an interpersonal journey for me. And I'm excited to show this to the world. I'm excited to talk about the things that I do and how I do it and why I do it. I am grateful for each of you being here. I'm grateful for everybody that subscribed. So that is a little bit about me. I am excited to bring this gift to you. On this podcast, is going to be a little different. So if anybody's interested in being on my podcast, what I would like to do is demonstrate some of my services live on the podcast. So some of my soul reading, some of my energy healing, those things. If you'd be interested in being a guest and experiencing that, in the comments below, if you're subscribed, in the comments below, say me. What's going to happen is when we get to 100 subscribers, I'm going to pick a couple people to come on the show. This is absolutely free, to be guests on the show. and we're going to go through some energy healing and or whatever it is that we choose to do. And then when we hit to 500 subscribers, I'm going to give away a full soul work package from the 500 subscribers. So I'm excited about this. So I hope you're prepared. We're going to dive into the world of energy healing, energy protecting, working in the cosmos, working with galactic beings, understanding who they are, how to communicate with them, what their energy feels like. We're going to dive into a vast world of information that's going to be exciting, and I'm excited to bring it to you. Each podcast is going to be different. Each podcast is going to be unique, but it's my experiences. And what I want you to do is don't take my experiences and try to make them your experiences. Take my experiences and find out what your experience is. Maybe some of the tools that I give you will help you kind of be like a starting point to open up that energy, but do it your way. Don't do it how I do it, because how you do it is the right way. We all have different journeys. We all have different ways of doing it. I'm only going to bring you the tools to help you grow. I'm excited to connect with each and every one of you. I'm excited to grow. Thank you guys for being here. And if you're interested in being a guest on the podcast, and doing like one of my services, then in the comments below, say me. Do me a favor, make sure you share out this video, like and comment, so we can help the channel grow. Let's push this in the algorithm. Thank you so much for being here. You guys are absolutely amazing. Namaste.